On there, guys. Earthmaster here, checking in on this Wednesday afternoon. Beautiful Wednesday afternoon, March 31st, the last day in March, obviously. 2021, just about 1 p.m. West Coast time here in California. And the latest quake on the globe, a 5.1 striking out here in the opposite side of the world where we've been watching for the most part along the West Coast. This earthquake striking just off the shore of the Owen Valley fracture zone in an area about, well, it's about 10 kilometers below the surface. And it looks like, well, it's pretty much in an area where we've seen quite a bit of earthquake activity before in the past. And that's, nothing new, right? Definitely quite a bit of historical seismic activity there in that region. All up and down the area around the Arabian Sea and off into the Indian Ocean area. Taking a look at the latest on the USGS map here shows the movement that we were kind of looking for last night when we did the update video. We had been watching some pressure transfer up along the Northern California coast, work its way down into Nevada where they've seen a 4.4 and also some heightened earthquake activity there near Ridgecrest. And we're kind of watching this zone south of the Garlock Fault Zone, pretty much skipped that area and jumped right down towards the Imperial Fault System where that larger quake struck back in 2010, 2011. I can't remember the exact magnitude, but it was right around the Easter Day. Imperial Fault sits just south of the Brawley seismic zone, which is the extensional fault of the San Andreas Fault, the southern branch, so to speak. This activity, there was a 4.8 that struck there. Since then, we're looking at a couple smaller aftershocks. Quite a few folks saying this is just, aftershock activity from that earthquake that struck back a few years back. Let me see if I can get this exactly. I can't remember the exact date. Oh yeah, that's right, 2010. April 4th, 2010. That's when the earthquake struck there on Easter and created a little bit of rattled nerves out there. It was a 7.2 magnitude quake striking right around this area within this vicinity of the Imperial Fault System. It was definitely south of the border and roughly right, almost right smack dab within that region where they were seeing that earthquake activity today, that 4.8 that struck there. Yeah, 7.2. Wow, so we're coming up on that Easter Sunday. So a lot of folks saying that this is just aftershock activity. And that and it's possible, very possible. There's always going to be aftershocks. It could be years later. Who knows? But either way, heightened earthquake activity over the last 24 hours in this region, and we watched that pressure work its way down, like I mentioned, from that 4 point. Man, gosh darn it, I forgot the magnitude there. Was it 4.7 off the coast of California yesterday? And then a 4.4 Nevada activity increase in the Ridgecrest area and the Lone Pine System fault area, and now down to the south here. So we're kind of just seeing what happens throughout the day here. What do we got here? The quake originally was believed to have occurred on the Laguna Salada Fault. Let's see here. There's a lot of fault systems down there, folks, and of course this map does not show every single fault system that sits down there, especially south of the border, but shows it kind of close to the Imperial Fault System, which is that system that breaks off there, or at least on the map here breaks off and works its way from Southern California down into the Baja region where that activity is occurring today. So just kind of watching it, folks. We're definitely watching it. I don't see any major swarming going on here. Some folks could consider this a swarm of activity, but there was kind of a main quake there, 4.8 as of right now. Of course, there's always the odds of something that this could be leading to something bigger. So it's always good to be on guard and pay attention. And I'm sure there's many other aftershocks occurring down here that the USGS is not reporting. The depth of these earthquakes, a little concerning there, kind of deep, 19 kilometers below the surface. The 7.2 that struck there back in 2010 on April 4th, that 7.2 was about 10 kilometers. And that's we normally see about 5 to 10 kilometer depth in pretty much well, up and down this area of the San Andreas Fault and the plate boundaries here, but some deeper movement occurring with this earthquake activity today there in the Baja region. Okay, moving on. Salton Sea area, seeing just a small little earthquake activity uptick there off the, or at least the southern part of Salton Sea region, 2.3 and a 1.9. Other than that, we've kind of seen activity die down up here to the north. We haven't seen any further moderate movement up here to the north. A couple deep earthquakes there off the coast, or inland, I should say, Northern California. 2.9 near, I've never heard of that place there. Up there in the mountains between Crescent City and Arcata region, Eureka area down here. I believe that's up there in the Redwoods area. Redwoods probably over here a little bit more, but beautiful area, no doubt. It's been a while since I've been up there. But pretty deep earthquake, 32 kilometers there below the surface. And up here, where'd the other one go? Up here east of Redding, a little shallow quake there near Millville. I kind of want to point out, folks, a deeper earthquake movement that we're seeing along the Northern California coast and partially over here towards the Gorda Escarpment region. I believe is firmly related to the tremor activity that's taken place over the past couple days there in the Cascadia subduction zone. Tremor, of course, is slippage, a slow slip movement along the Juan de Fuca plate as it subducts underneath the North American plate there. This thing's kind of loading slow. Of course, this is all the tremor that occurred yesterday. We have not got the updated map, which comes out about 6 o'clock my time later this evening. We'll take a look at that later on the live stream. But definitely some deeper movement and some surface quaking due to the subduction or the tremor along the Cascadia subduction zone here. It's stretching a pretty good portion of it, kind of leaving out the northern end of it near Vancouver. But this area definitely showing quite a bit of seismic activity, specifically in Northern California there. You can see that large cluster of epicenters there all throughout that region, kind of around that area where we've seen that deep earthquake, right, that I just showed you on the map there near, I forgot its name because I've never heard of it. And also up there in Seattle where they're seeing quite a bit of deeper movement in that area as well, about 30, 40 kilometer deep earthquakes, which is obviously the sign of a subduction quake. It's not shown on this map because we've been over the 24-hour period. There's a couple deeper ones up north, 21 kilometers for 2.0, and this other earthquake there, kind of a shallower one. So no doubt seismic activity on the increase along the Cascadia, which ultimately builds up continued strain along the locked section of the Cascadia fold, or the Cascadia megathrust locked section up here. As far as volcanoes up here, a little bit of movement around the Mount Rainier area. Not for sure what's going on here with the USGS map. A couple small microquakes there at about 8 and 7 kilometers below the surface. We can check out the a little bit more information on the volcano volcanic seismicity map up here. Let's see what we got here. See if any of these stations will let me view them. Sometimes I have a heck of a time getting on here. They're just so over amplified or under amplified that it's hard to decipher any earthquake activity. This one here is just squashed like crazy. I can't see any movement, not even if Bigfoot was up there walking around. It would take a major asteroid strike to probably trigger this trigger this seismogram. So yeah, just a little movement, folks, up there. And we talked about this continued earthquake activity into the Intermountain West region, stretching up into Yellowstone National Park, where they're still kind of having a little earthquake swarm up there along the, north, right around the Lake Yellowstone area. You can see a little bit stronger movement over here towards Little West Thumb. But the activity that we're talking about is all of this small, spiky stuff showing up. These are not large earthquakes. In fact, I wouldn't doubt it if the majority of these are under 1.0 or 1.5 magnitude there. USGS is not really showing too much activity. Couple earthquakes there around the Yellowstone National Park being picked up, 0.8 and 1.8, but I guarantee you there's way more popping off there on these seismographs than what's being reported there on the map. Kind of watching that on the Yellowstone seismograph, the live one that I have on the live stream there of Lake Yellowstone. seen that activity as well. So moving on, folks. Throughout the rest of the country, a little earthquake out there in Oklahoma. But for the most part, I think we're seeing activity move down to the south and also over to the west here, from the east here into Indonesia Islands area, stretching over there, as I mentioned, around the Arabian Sea area. And a little uptick in the Chile region as well, with a couple deeper earthquakes there, 4.6 in the Bolivia, I should say Bolivia. I didn't mean Chile. Chile kind of stretching down here, but Bolivia area. And what else we got up here? Just it's a little bit of deep movement there along that subduction zone. I think we've seen that there yesterday. But no major quakes there to report. Just an area to watch pretty closely. Hawaii, on the other hand, still continuing its swarm of activity. Been watching it pretty closely on the Alea permanent station there. While we're talking about, let me show you real quick. That station that I'm referring to is a station near Mauna Loa, monitoring the earthquake activity and the seismic volcanic activity occurring there on the big island. It's coming around the bend right now. Hold on one second as it stretches up here. I've got a couple various stations there that I monitor for seismic activity. Alea permanent EHZ station there monitoring. That's going to be this top one here below the timestamps there. Those are all earthquakes there popping off. And it has been more active this morning, but kind of lightened up a little bit. But every single one of those spikes are indicating earthquake activity there near Mauna Loa. So looking at the USGS map here, shows that activity, that swarming that's being picked up in this specific area. 57 earthquakes within the last 24 hours. Of course, last night and the day before, we were looking at, well, over 100 or so in the same region. Today, it looks like that is continuing on that upward swing of the multitude of quakes there. And most of these, again, are not big ones, folks. The bigger ones, I guess you can call them bigger ones, are 2.5s, but most of these are well below 2.5, and a lot of them below 1.0 magnitude. But there's still the significance of the swarming that's going on right next to this very active volcano called Mauna Loa, the caldera region. Something to watch pretty closely. And I don't believe the USGS volcanoes have put out any other news articles, but we will check that real quick just to see. There's the active volcanoes of Hawaii. We go over here to Mauna Loa. This page is really cool to check out if you want to check it out, folks. usgs.gov/volcanoes. We're still looking at a yellow advisory as of the 31st. Of course, threat potential very high with this volcano, and it, no doubt it's coming up. It's coming up, folks. Let me tell you. Volcano updates. This was put out March 30th. Yesterday. It looks like they may have included. Let's see here. Let's go ahead and read over this real quick. Swarm of earthquakes began on the 29th. Okay, and I don't believe they've included the activity that we seen yesterday there. I'm sure they will put out one here soon, though. That's still the old information statement there from the folks in regards to the, not yesterday's, but the prior day earthquake activity, where they seen, well, quite a bit of earthquake activity still. All right, let's see what else we got here, folks. I think we covered that on the map for the most part, as far as the USGS activity goes. Yellowstone covered. Solar weather is still very low at the moment. We're not looking at any potential any potential solar weather activity. No geomagnetic storming at the moment. Threat level for the flares are extremely low, 1% in all categories there of the C class of the class of flares. And as far as the auroras, looking at pretty low possibilities and dwindling possibilities as we continue into the first week of April there. Pretty quiet. All right, folks, we're going to jump off here for a little bit. Hope everyone's having a good day. It's going to be 83 degrees here where I live in Northern California. Just going to do some yard work and enjoy the day. We'll be out here monitoring the live stream here throughout the day off and on. So if you haven't checked it out, make sure you pop on over and say hi. Have a good day, folks. We will catch you a little bit later. Peace out.